Welcome, kindred spirits, to a place of positivity, passion, and purpose. Welcome, everyone, to our latest video where we'll be exploring Essen. Essen, Latin, Assindia, is the central and, after Dortmund, second largest city of the Ruhr, the largest urban area in Germany. Its population makes it the fourth largest city of North Rhine-Westphalia after Cologne, Düsseldorf and Dortmund, as well as the ninth largest city of Germany. Essen lies in the larger Rhine-Ruhr Metropolitan Region and is part of the cultural area of Rhineland. Because of its central location in the Ruhr, Essen is often regarded as the Ruhr's secret capital. Two rivers flow through the city: in the north, the Emscher, the Ruhr area's central river, and in the south, the Ruhr River, which is dammed in Essen to form the Lake Baldeney Baldeneysee and Lake Kettwig Kettwiger See reservoirs. The central and northern boroughs of Essen historically belong to the Low German Westphalian language area, and the south of the city to the Low Franconian Bergish area closely related to Dutch. Essen is seat to several of the region's authorities, as well as to 8 of the 100 largest publicly held German corporations by revenue, including 3 DAX-listed corporations. Essen is often considered the energy capital of Germany, with E.ON and RWE, Germany's largest energy providers, both headquartered in the city. Essen is also known for its impact on the arts through the respected Bochum University of the Arts, its Sovereign School of Management and Design, and the Red Dot Industrial Product Design Award. In early 2003, the universities of Essen and the nearby city of Duisburg, both established in 1972, were merged into the University of Duisburg-Essen, with campuses in both cities and a university hospital in Essen. In 1958, Essen was chosen to serve as the seat to a Roman Catholic diocese often referred to as Ruhrbistum or Diocese of the Ruhr. Founded around 845, Essen remained a small town within the sphere of influence of an important ecclesiastical principality, Essen Abbey, until the onset of industrialization. The city, then especially through the Krupp family ironworks, became one of Germany's most important coal and steel centers. Essen, until the Ers, attracted workers from all over the country. It was the fifth largest city in Germany between 1929 and 1988, peaking at over 730,000 inhabitants in 1962. Following the region-wide decline of heavy industries in the last decades of the 20th century, the city has seen the development of a strong tertiary sector of the economy. The most notable witness of this structural change is the Zollverein coal mine industrial complex, which had once been the largest of its kind in Europe. Ultimately closed in 1993, both the coking plant and the mine have been inscribed in the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites since 2001. Notable accomplishments of the city in recent years include the title of European Capital of Culture on behalf of the whole Ruhr area in 2010 and the selection as the European Green Capital for 2017. As we enter this new phase, let's analyze general from different angles and evaluate its significance. Essen is located in the center of the Ruhr area, one of the largest urban areas in Europe. See also megalopolis, comprising 11 independent cities and 4 districts with some 5.3 million inhabitants. The city limits of Essen itself are 87 kilometers long and border 10 cities, 5 independent and 5 Kreisangehörig, i.e., belonging to a district, with a total population of approximately 1.4 million. The city extends over 21 kilometers from north to south and 17 kilometers from west to east, mainly north of the River Ruhr. The Ruhr forms the reservoir in the boroughs of Fischlaken, Kupfersee, Heisingen and Werden. The lake, a popular recreational area, dates from 1931 to 1933, when some thousands of unemployed coal miners dredged it with primitive tools. Generally, large areas south of the River Ruhr, including the suburbs of Schwer and Kettwig, are quite green and are often quoted as examples of rural structures in the otherwise relatively densely populated central Ruhr area. According to the Federal Statistical Office of Germany, Essen, with 9.2% of its area covered by recreational green, is the greenest city in North Rhine-Westphalia and the third greenest city in Germany. The city has been shortlisted for the title of European Green Capital 2 consecutive times, for 2016 and 2017, winning for 2017. The city was singled out for its exemplary practices in protecting and enhancing nature and biodiversity and efforts to reduce water consumption. Essen participates in a variety of networks and initiatives to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and improve the city's resilience in the face of climate change. The lowest point can be found in the northern borough of Karnup at 26.5 m, the highest point in the borough of Heihausen at 202.5 meters. The average elevation is 116 m. With that being said, let's now move on to city districts. Essen comprises 50 boroughs, which in turn are grouped into 9 suburban districts called Stadtbezirk, often named after the most important boroughs. Each Stadtbezirk is assigned a Roman numeral and has a local body of 19 members with limited authority. Most of the boroughs were originally independent municipalities but were gradually annexed from 1901 to 1975. This long-lasting process of annexation has led to a strong identification of the population with their boroughs or districts, and to a rare peculiarity: the borough of Kettwig, located south of the Ruhr River, and which was not annexed until 1975, has its own area code and remains part of the Archdiocese of Cologne, whereas all other boroughs of Essen and some neighbouring cities constitute the Diocese of Essen. Get ready for an exciting exploration as we unravel the mysteries of climate. Essen has a typical oceanic climate, with cool winters and warm summers different of Berlin or Stuttgart. Without large mountains and the presence of inland seas, it ends up extending. A predominantly marine climate is found in Essen, usually a little more extreme and drier in other continents in such geographical location. Its average annual temperature is 10 C, 13.3 Celsius during the day and 6.7 Celsius at night. The average annual precipitation is 934 millimeters. The coldest month of the year is January, when the average temperature is 2.4 Celsius. The warmest months are July and August, with an average temperature of 18 Celsius. The record high is and the record low is. Brace yourself for an in-depth analysis as we navigate through history and its far-reaching implications. Thumb up right eye Essen on an engraving from 1647. Let's now shift gears and explore origin of the name through a critical lens, uncovering its strengths and weaknesses. In German-speaking countries, the name of the city Essen often causes confusion as to its origins, because it has the same form as the German infinitive of the verb for eating, written as lowercase Essen, and of the German noun for food, which is always capitalized as Essen, adding to the confusion. Although scholars still dispute the interpretation of the name, there remain a few noteworthy interpretations. The oldest known form of the city's name is Asnied, which changed to Essen by way of forms such as Asnidum, Asind, Assindia and Essen. The name Asnied may have referred either to a region where many ash trees were found or to a region in the east of the Frankish Empire. The Old High German word for fireplace, es, is also commonly mentioned due to the industrial history of the city, but is highly unlikely since the old forms of the city name originate from times before industrialization. With that being said, let's now move on to early history. The oldest archaeological find, the Vogelheimer Clinch, dates back to 280,000 to 250,000 BC. It is a blade found in the borough in the northern part of the city during the construction of the Rhine Canal in 1926. Other artifacts from the Stone Age have also been found, although these are not overly numerous. Land utilization was very high, especially due to mining activities during the Industrial Age, and any more major finds, especially from the Mesolithic era, are not expected. Finds from 3000 BC and onwards are far more common, the most important one being a megalithic tomb found in 1937. Simply called Stinkis Chest of Stone, It is referred to as Essen's earliest preserved example of architecture. Essen was part of the settlement areas of several Germanic peoples, Chatti, Brutteri, Marsi, although a clear distinction among these groupings is difficult. The castle in the south of Essen dates back to the 8th century, the nearby to the 9th century. Recent research into Ptolemy's Geographia has identified the polis or oppidum Navalia as Essen. As we enter this new phase, let's uncover the impact of the 12th centuries on our broader topic. Around 845, Saint Alfred Around, the later Bishop of Hildesheim, founded an abbey for women, Conebium Arsneid, in the centre of present-day Essen. The first abbess was Alfred's relative Gerswit, see also Essen Abbey. In 799, St. Euger had already founded Benedictine Werden Abbey on its own grounds a few kilometres south. The region was sparsely populated with only a few small holdings and an old and probably abandoned castle. Whereas Werden Abbey sought to support Euger's missionary work in the Harz region Helmstedt-Halberstadt, Essen Abbey was meant to care for women of the higher Saxon nobility. This abbey was not an abbey in the ordinary sense, but rather intended as a residence and educational institution for the daughters and widows of the higher nobility, led by an abbess. The members other than the abbess herself were not obliged to take vows of chastity. Around 852, construction of the collegiate church of the abbey began, to be completed in 870. A major fire in 946 heavily damaged both the church and the settlement. The church was rebuilt, expanded considerably, and is the foundation of the present Essen Cathedral. The first documented mention of Essen dates back to 898, when Zwentewald, king of Lotharingia, ruled territory on the western bank of the river Rhine to the abbey. Another document, describing the foundation of the abbey and allegedly dating back to 870, is now considered an 11th forgery. In 971, Mathilde II, granddaughter of Emperor Otto I, took charge of the abbey. She was to become the most important of all abbesses in the history of Essen. She reigned for over 40 years, and endowed the abbey's treasury with invaluable objects such as the oldest preserved 7-branched candelabrum, and the Golden Madonna of Essen, the oldest known sculpture of the Virgin Mary in the Western world. Mathilde was succeeded by other women related to the Ottonian emperors, Sophia, daughter of Otto II and sister of Otto III, and Theophanu, granddaughter of Otto II. It was under the reign of Theophanu that Essen, which had been called a city since 1003, received the right to hold markets in 1041. 10 years later, Theophanu had the eastern part of Essen Abbey constructed. Its crypt contains the tombs of St. Alfred, Mathilde II, and Theophanu herself. Our focus now turns to 13th centuries, an important aspect of our discussion. In 1216, an abbey, which had only been an important landowner until then, gained the status of a princely residence when Emperor Frederick I called Abbess Elizabeth I Reichsfürstin Princess of the Empire in an official letter. In 1244, 28 years later, Essen received its town charter and seal when Conrad von Hochstaden, the Archbishop of Cologne, marched into the city and erected a city wall together with the population. This proved a temporary emancipation of the population of the city from the princess abbesses, but this lasted only until 1290. That year, King Rudolf I restored the princess abbesses to full sovereignty over the city, much to the dismay of the population of the growing city, who called for self-administration and imperial immediacy. The title Free Imperial City was finally granted by Emperor Charles IV in 1377. However, in 1372, Charles had paradoxically endorsed Rudolf I's 1290 decision and hence left both the abbey and the city in imperial favour. Disputes between the city and the abbey about supremacy over the region remained common until the abbey's dissolution in 1803. Many lawsuits were filed at the Reichskammergericht, one of them lasting almost 200 years. The final decision of the court in 1670 was that the city had to be duly obedient in dos and don'ts to the abbesses but could maintain its old rights, a decision that did not really solve any of the problems. In 1563, the city council, with its self-conception as the only legitimate ruler of Essen, introduced the Protestant Reformation. The Catholic abbey had no troops to counter this development. As we embark on the next leg of our journey, let's unpack the layers of 30 Years' War and examine its core elements. During the 30 Years' War, the Protestant city and the Catholic abbey opposed each other. In 1623, Princess Abbess Maria Clara von Spohr, Frau Undvalla, managed to direct Catholic Spaniards against the city in order to initiate a counter-reformation. In 1624, a re-Catholicization law was enacted, and churchgoing was strictly controlled. In 1628, the city council filed against this at the Reichskammergericht. Ria had to flee to Cologne when the Dutch stormed the city in 1629. She returned in the summer of 1631 following the Bavarians under Gottfried Heinrich Graf zu Pappenheim, only to leave again in September. She died 1644 in Cologne. The war proved a severe blow to the city, with frequent arrests, kidnapping and rape. Even after the Peace of Westphalia from 1648, troops remained in the city until 9 September 1650. Moving ahead, let's uncover the hidden gems within industrialization and discover their significance. The first historic evidence of the important mining tradition of Essen date back to the 14th century, when the Princess Abbess was granted mining rights. The first silver mine opened in 1354, but the indisputably more important coal was not mentioned until 1371, and coal mining only began in 1450. At the end of the 16th century, many coal mines had opened in Essen, and the city earned a name as a center of the weapons industry. Around 1570, gunsmiths made high profits, and in 1620, they produced 14,000 rifles and pistols a year. The city became increasingly important strategically. Resident in Essen since the 16th century, the Krupp family dynasty and Essen shaped each other. In 1811, Friedrich Krupp founded Germany's first cast steel factory in Essen and laid the cornerstone for what was to be the largest enterprise in Europe for a couple of decades. The weapon factories in Essen became so important that a sign facing the main railway station welcomed visitors Hitler and Mussolini to the Armory of the Reich in 1937. The Krupp works also were the main reason for the large population growth beginning in the mid-19th century. Essen reached a population of 100,000 in 1896. Other industrialists, such as Friedrich Grillo, who in 1892 donated the Grillo Theatre to the city, also played a major role in the shaping of the city and the Ruhr area in the late 19th and early 20th century. Without wasting any more time, let's jump into the fascinating world of World War I and occupation. Riots broke out in February 1917 following a breakdown in the supply of flour. There were then strikes in the Krupp factory. On 11 January 1923, the occupation of the Ruhr was carried out by the invasion of French and Belgian troops into the Ruhr. The French Prime Minister, Raymond Poincaré, was convinced that Germany failed to comply the demands of the Treaty of Versailles. On the morning of 31 March 1923, the culmination of this French-German confrontation occurred when a small French military command occupied the Krupp Hall to seize several vehicles. This event caused 13 deaths and 28 injured. The occupation of the Ruhr ended in summer 1925. With our foundation established, it's time to explore Nazism, World War I and its relevance to our overarching theme. On the night of Kristallnacht on 10 November 1938, the synagogue was sacked, but remained through the whole war in the exterior almost intact. The steel synagogue was completely destroyed. During the Nazi era, tens of thousands of slave laborers were forced to work in 350 Essen forced labor camps. Here, they did mining work and worked for companies like Krupp and Siemens. Alfred Krupp was convicted in the Krupp trial at Nuremberg for his role in this but was pardoned by the US in 1951. There were several subcamps in Essen in Second World War, such as the subcamps. As a major industrial center, Essen was a target for Allied bombing, the Royal Air Force RAF dropping a total of 36,429 long tons of bombs on the city. Over 270 air raids were launched against the city, destroying 90% of the center and 60% of the suburbs. On 5 March 1943, Essen was subjected to one of the heaviest air raids of the war. 461 people were killed, 1,593 injured, and a further 50,000 residents of Essen were made homeless. On 13 December 1944, 3 British airmen were lynched. The Kruppdicke site, German Kruppschnackschenelage, was built in Velbert to divert Allied airstrikes from the actual production site of the arms factory in Essen. The Allied ground advance into Germany reached Essen in April 1945. The U.S. 507th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 17th Airborne Division, acting as regular infantry and not in a parachute role, entered the city unopposed and captured it on 10 April 1945. After the successful invasion of Germany by the Allies, Essen was assigned to the British zone of occupation. On 8 March 1946, a German army officer and a civilian were hanged for the lynching of 3 British airmen in December 1944. In this part of the video, we'll be delving deeper into 21st century and analyzing its key components. Fumba-Preikurve over central Essen from Bottrop. Although weaponry is no longer produced in Essen, old industrial enterprises such as ThyssenKrupp and RWE remain large employers in the city. Foundations such as the Alfred Krupp von Bauen und Stiftung still promote the well-being of the city, for example by supporting a hospital and donating €55 million for a new building for the Museum Folkwang, one of the Ruhr area's major art museums. In this segment, we'll be unraveling the complexities of historical development and exploring its multifaceted nature. The administration of Essen had for a long time been in the hands of the Princess Abbesses as heads of the Imperial Abbey of Essen. However, from the 14th century onwards, the city council increasingly grew in importance. In 1335, it started choosing 2 burgomasters, one of whom was placed in charge of the treasury. In 1377, Essen was granted imperial immediacy but had to abandon this privilege later on. Between the early 15th and 20th centuries, the political system of Essen underwent several changes, most importantly the introduction of the Protestant Reformation in 1563, the annexation of 1802 by Prussia, and the subsequent secularization of the Principality in 1803. The territory was made part of the Prussian province of Jolick-Klevsburg from 1815 to 1822, after which it became part of the Prussian Rhine province until its dissolution in 1946. During the German Revolution Essen was the home of the Essen Tendency Essener within the Communist Workers' Party of Germany. In 1922 they founded the Communist Workers' International. Essen became one of the centers of resistance to social democracy and the Freikorps alike. During the Nazi era, mayors were installed by the Nazi Party. After World War II, the military government of the British occupation zone installed a new mayor and a municipal constitution modelled on that of British cities. Later, the city council was again elected by the population. The mayor was elected by the council as its head and as the city's main representative. The administration was led by a full-time Oberstadtdirektor. In 1999, the position of Oberstadtdirektor was abolished in North Rhine-Westphalia and the mayor became both main representative and administrative head. In addition, the population now elects the mayor directly. In this part of the video, we'll be diving deep into mayor and unraveling its profound impact. The current mayor of Essen is Thomas Kufen of the Christian Democratic Union CDU, who was elected in 2015 and re-elected in 2020. The most recent mayoral election was held on 13 September 2020, and the results were as follows. Kosben candidate. Party. Votes. Assindia Alleinlift Thomas Kufen Alleinlift Christian Democratic Union 115,000. 415.54.3 Kula Alleinluft Oliver Kern Alleinluft Social Democratic Party 43,093 20.3 Kula Alleinluft Mehrheit Mustafa Zaid Alleinluft Alliance Earth Greens 25,924 12.2 Kula Alleinluft Harald Parcel Alleinluft Alternative for Germany 12,695 6 Kula Alleinluft Daniel Carrick Alleinluft The Left 5,414 2.5 Kula Alleinluft Annie Maria Terech Alleinluft Die PARTEI 5,168 2.4 Kula Alleinluft Kujak Raymond Kruger Alleinluft Free Democratic Party 4,202 Kula Alleinluft Peterkster Alleinluft German Communist Party 546 0.3 Kula Alleinluft Detlef Albert Ferg Alleinluft National Democratic Party 232 0.1 Cuspen valid votes 212,687 99.1 Cuspen invalid votes 1,861 0.9 Cuspen total 214,548 100 Cuspen electorate voter turnout 446,384 48.1 Cuspen source State Returning Officer. Moving forward, we'll be taking a closer look at City Council. The Essen City Council governs the city alongside the mayor. The most recent City Council election was held on 13 September 2020, and the results were as follows. Cuspen Party. Votes. Seats. Kula Alleinluft Christian Democratic Union CDU 73,206 34.4332 Kula Alleinluft Social Democratic Party SPD 51,550 24.39.721 10 Kula Alleinluft Alliance Earth Greens Grind 39,569 18.67.416 6 Kula Alleinluft Alternative for Germany Aft 15,849 7.53.763 Kula Alleinluft The Left Die Link 8,309 3.91.432 Kula Alleinluft Free Democratic Party FDP 6,476 30.23 Alleinluft Essen Citizens Alliance EBB 6,209 2.91.431 Kula Alleinluft IPARTEI 5,282 2.51.721 Kula Alleinluft Human Environment Animal Protection Tire Shuts 4,396 2.1 New to New Cuspen Kula Ligri Alleinluft Social Liberal Alliance SLB 760 0.4 New 0 New Kula Alleinluft German Communist Party DKP 463 0.20.10 Kula Alleinluft Volt Germany Volt 357 0.2 New 0 New Kula Alleinluft Pirate Party Germany Piraten 86 01.802 Cuspen valid votes 212,512 98.9 Cuspen invalid votes 2,327 1.1 Cuspen total 214,839 100 86 4 Cuspen electorate voter turnout 446,384 48.1 2.8 Cuspen source State Returning Officer. As we enter this new phase, let's analyze coat of arms from different angles and evaluate its significance. The coat of arms of the city of Essen is a heraldic peculiarity. Granted in 1886, it is a so-called Allianzwappen arms of alliance and consists of two separate shields under a single crown. Most other coats of arms of cities use a mule crown instead of a heraldic crown. The crown, however, does not refer to the city of Essen itself, but instead to the secularized ecclesiastical principality of Essen under the reign of the Princess Abbesses. The Dexter heraldically right escutcheon shows the double-headed imperial eagle of the Holy Roman Empire, granted to the city in 1623. The sinister heraldically left escutcheon is one of the oldest emblems of Essen and shows a sword that people believed was used to behead the city's patron saints Cosmas and Damian. People tend to connect the sword in the left shield with one found in the cathedral treasury. This sword, however, is much more recent. A slightly modified and more heraldically correct version of the coat of arms can be found on the roof of the hotel near the main station. In the upcoming section, we'll be shining a light on demographics. Largest groups of foreign residents as of March 2022. Essen has a population about 580,000 and is the second largest city in Ruhr area after Dortmund and the 10th largest city in Germany. Essen has also the largest urban density with cities like Bochum, Gelsenkirchen and Oberhausen borders this city. In 1960, the population reached its historical peak of over 720,000. Essen was the fifth largest German city at that time due to its booming industrial era of the Ruhr area and West Germany Wirtschaftswunder. Since the population of Essen declined due to loss of jobs by coal and mining. Essen has a large migrant population, most of them are from Turkey, Syria and Poland. Let's zoom in on international relations and understand its implications. The city of Monessen, Pennsylvania, situated along the Monongahela River, was named after the river and Essen. As we transition, let's shed light on twin towns, sister cities, and its relevance to our ongoing exploration. Essen is twinned with Changzhou, China 2015, Grenoble, France 1974, Nizhny Novgorod, Russia 1991, Sunderland, England, United Kingdom 1949, Tampa, Finland 1960, Tel Aviv, Israel 1991, Zaporizhzhia, Poland 2015. Brace yourself for a deep dive into cooperation agreements as we explore its impact and relevance in our evolving narrative. Essen cooperates with the Crimea, Japan 2017, Qingdao, China 2008, Riven, Ukraine 2022, Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia 2012. Brace yourselves for the next chapter, where we'll be dissecting economy. Essen is home to several large companies, among them the ThyssenKrupp industrial conglomerate, which is also registered in Duisburg and originates from a 1999 merger between Duisburg-based Thyssen AG and Essen-based Friedrich Krupp AG Hoch Krupp. The largest company registered only in Essen is Germany's second largest electric utility RWE AG. Essen hosts parts of the corporate headquarters of Schenker AG, the logistics division of Deutsche Bahn. Other major companies include Germany's largest construction company Hochtief, as well as Aldi Nord, Evonik Industries, Karstadt, Medion AG and Deichmann, Europe's largest shoe retailer. The Coca-Cola Company had originally established their German headquarters in Essen around 1930, where it remained until 2003, when it was moved to the capital Berlin. In light of the energy transition in Germany, Germany's largest electric utility E.ON announced that, after restructuring and splitting off its conventional electricity generation division coal, gas, atomic energy, it will move its headquarters to Essen in 2016, becoming a sole provider of renewable energy. The DAX-listed chemical distribution company Brenntag announced it would move its headquarters to Essen at the end of 2017. ThyssenKrupp Quartier Essen op ThyssenKrupp headquarters in Essen RWE Tower Essen OPO AG headquarters in the business district EON Ruger Central Essen Gien headquarters Hochhaus Krupp Stray 5 Essen OPO AG headquarters Hochtiefhaus Essen Hochtief headquarters Reddinghaus 2 Essen Evonik Industries headquarters Schenker AG Hochsitzei Schenker AG headquarters Postbank Hochhaus Essen Postbank Essen Essener Kreditanstalt, Hut Deutsche Bank branch in the financial district Emscher Essen Gemscher Essen. In this section, we'll be shedding light on fairs and its impact on our understanding of the subject. Thumbabreiter Mess Essen logo. The city's exhibition center, Mess Essen, hosts some 50 trade fairs each year. With around 530 visitors each year, Essen Motor Show is by far the largest event held there. It has been described as the showcase event of the year for the tuning community and as the German version of the annual SEMA Auto Show in Las Vegas. As contrasted with the Frankfurt Auto Show, the Essen show is smaller and is focused on car tuning and racing interests. Other important fairs open to consumers include SPIEL, the world's biggest consumer fair for tabletop gaming, and one of the leading fairs for equestrian sports, Equitana, held every 2 years. Important fairs restricted to professionals include security and fire protection, IPM gardening and e-world energy and water. Essen Messesud Mess Essen South Entrance Filmus Essen, Ostingankmus Essen East Entrance Essen Messesud Mess Essen South Entrance. Moving ahead, let's uncover the hidden gems within media and discover their significance. The Westdeutscher Rundfunk has a studio in Essen, which is responsible for the central Ruhr area. Each day, it produces a 30-minute regional evening news magazine called Lokalzeit Ruhr, a 5-minute afternoon news program, and several radio news programs. A local broadcasting station went on air in the late years. The WAZ Media Group is one of the most important print media companies in Europe and publishes the Ruhr area's 2 most important day newspapers, Westdeutsche Allgemeine Zeitung WAZ, 580,000 copies, and Neue Rhine Zeitung NRZ, 180,000 copies. In Essen, the WAZ Group also publishes the Local and, both of which had been independent weekly newspapers for parts of Essen. Additionally, Axel Springer run a printing facility for their boulevard-style daily paper build in Essen. Now, let's dig deeper into education and unveil the hidden treasures it holds within. One renowned educational institution in Essen is the Folkwang University, a university of the arts founded in 1927, which is headquartered in Essen and has additional facilities in Duisburg, Bochum and Dortmund. Since 1927, its traditional main location has been in the former Werden Abbey in Essen in the Ruhr area, with additional facilities in Duisburg, Bochum, and Dortmund, and, since 2010, at the Zech Zollverein, a World Heritage Site also in Essen. The Folkwang University is home to the international dance company Folkwang Tanz Studio FTS. In 1963, the Folkwang School was renamed Folkwang Hochschule Folkwang Academy. In 2010, the institution began offering graduate studies and was renamed Folkwang University of the Arts. This coincided with Ruhr, the festival in which the Ruhr district was designated the European Capital of Culture for the year 2010. Essen Kloster Werden Innenhof to Folkwang University of the Arts Zollverein School of Management and Design Zollverein School of Management and Design Universität Essen Panorama Universität Essen Essen Wern Folkwang Hochschule 8 Folkwang University. The University of Duisburg Essen, which resulted from a 2003 merger of the universities of Essen and Duisburg, is one of Germany's youngest universities with about 42,000 students. One of its primary research areas is urban systems, i.e., sustainable development, logistics and transportation, a theme largely inspired by the highly urbanist Ruhr area. Other fields include nanotechnology, discrete mathematics and education in the 21st century. Another university in Essen is the private Fachhochschule für Economy and Management, a university of applied sciences with over 6,000 students and branches in 15 other major cities throughout Germany. Turning our focus to medicine, let's explore its key elements. Essen offers a highly diversified healthcare system with more than 1,350 resident doctors and almost 6,000 beds in 13 hospitals, including a university hospital. The university hospital dates back to 1909, when the city council established a municipal hospital. Although it was largely destroyed during World War II, it was later rebuilt, and finally gained the title of a university hospital in 1963. It focuses on diseases of the circulatory system, West German Heart Center Essen, oncology and transplantation medicine, with the Department of Bone Marrow Transplantation being the second largest of its kind in the world. Elisabeth Krankenhaus Essen, Elisabeth Krankenhaus Essen, Uniklinik Essen, Ok University Hospital Essen. Let's now venture into the realm of streets and motorways and explore the fascinating intricacies it holds. The road network of Essen consists of over 3,200 streets, which in total have a length of roughly 1,600 km. For Autobahnen touch Essen territory, most importantly the Ruhr Expressway, a 40, which runs directly through the city, dividing it roughly in half. In a west-eastern direction, the 40 connects the Dutch city of Venlo with Dortmund, running through the whole Ruhr area. It is one of the arterial roads of the Ruhr area, 140,000 vehicles a day, and suffers from heavy congestion during rush hours, which is why many people in the area nicknamed it Ruhr Crawling Way. A tunnel was built in the Us when the then Bundesstraße was upgraded to motorway standards, so that the 40 is hidden from public view in the inner city district near the main railway station. In the north, the 42 briefly touches Essen territory, serving as an interconnection between the neighbouring cities of Oberhausen and Gelsenkirchen and destinations beyond. A part of the A44, a highly segmented connection from Aachen and the Belgian border to Kassel, planned to go further into central Germany, ends in Essen's south. A segment of the A52 connects Essen with the more southern region around Seldorf. On Essen territory, the A52 runs from the southern boroughs near Melheim and Der Ruhr past the fairground and then merges with the Ruhr at the Autobahn Essen Ost junction east of the city centre. With the E52 in the southern parts of the city and the A42 in the north, there is a gap in the motorway system, often leading to congestion on streets leading from the central to the northern boroughs. An extension of the A52 to connect the Essen Ost junction with the A42 to close this gap is considered urgent. It has been planned for years but not yet been realized, most importantly due to the high density areas this extension would lead through, resulting in high costs and concerns with the citizens. Moving ahead, let's uncover the hidden gems within public transport and discover their significance. As with most communes in the Ruhr area, local transport is carried out by a local, publicly owned company for transport within the city, the DB Regio subsidiary of Deutsche Bahn for regional transport and Deutsche Bahn itself for long-distance journeys. The local carrier, Ruhrbahn, is a member of the Verkehrsverband Rhine-Ruhr VRR Association of Public Transport Companies in the Ruhr area, which provides a uniform fare structure in the whole region. Within the VRR region, tickets are valid on lines of all members as well as railway lines except the high-speed intercity and intercity express networks and can be bought at ticket machines and service centres of Ruhrbahn, all other members of VRR, and DB. Ruhrbahn operates 3 U-Stadtbahn lines of the Essen Stadtbahn network, 7 Straßenbahn tram lines and 57 bus lines, 16 of these serving as Nacht Express late-night lines only. The Stadtbahn and Straßenbahn operate on total route lengths of 19.6 kilometers and 52.4 km, respectively. 1 tram line and a few bus lines coming from neighbouring cities are operated by these cities' respective carriers. The U-Stadtbahn, which partly runs on used Docklands light railway stock, is a mixture of tram and full underground systems with 20 underground stations for the U-Stadtbahn and additional 4 underground stations used by the tram. 2 lines of the U-Stadtbahn are completely intersection-free and hence independent from other traffic, and the U-line leading from Melheim main station to the Bismarckplatz station at the gates of the city centre partly runs above ground amidst the 40 motorway. The Essen Stadtbahn is one of the Stadtbahn systems integrated into the Greater Rhine-Ruhr Stadtbahn network. Essen ok main station EVAG Essen FTW ok Essen Stadtbahn FTW 1601 Essen to Empfangsgebäude Essen Hauptbahnhof Essen Hauptbahnhof Freiheit Essen Hauptbahnhof in the city centre U-Bahnhof Essen Essen Hauptbahnhof subway station Stadtbahn Essen Kaiser Wilhelm Park ok platforms at Kaiser Wilhelm Park. On the same motorway, a long-term test of a guided bus system is being held since 1980. Many Ruhr rail lines meet at the main station, but only a handful of bus lines. However, all but one of the Nacht Express bus lines originate from Led to Essen Hauptbahnhof in a star-shaped manner. All Ruhr lines, including the Nacht Express lines, are closed on weekdays from 1:30 am to 4:30 am. Of the Rhine-Ruhr S-Bahn net's 13 lines, 5 lines lead through Essen territory and meet at the Essen Hauptbahnhof main station, which also serves as the connection to the regional express and intercity express network of regional and nationwide high-speed trains, respectively. Following Essen's appointment as European Capital of Culture 2010, the main station, which is classified as a station of highest importance and which had not been substantially renovated over decades, will be redeveloped with a budget of €57 million until early 2010. Other important stations in Essen, where regional and local traffic are connected, are the regional railway stations in the boroughs of Altenhessen, Borbeck, Cray and Steel. Further 20 S-Bahn stations can be found in the whole urban area. In 2017, the public transport organization of Mülheim, the Mülheimer Verkehrsgesellschaft MVG and the Essener Verkehrsgesellschaft EVAG merged and became the Ruhr. All vehicles and staff were merged and are now operated together. Brace yourself for a deep dive into aviation as we explore its impact and relevance in our evolving narrative. Together with the neighboring city of Mülheim in der Ruhr and the state of North Rhine-Westphalia, Essen maintains Essener Mülheim Airport IATA, ESS, ICAO, EDLE. While the first flights had already arrived in 1919, it was officially opened on 25 August 1925. Significantly expanded in 1935, Essener Mülheim became the central airport of the Ruhr area until the end of the Second World War, providing an asphalted runway of 1553 m, another unsurfaced runway for gliding and destinations to most major European cities. It was heavily damaged during the war, yet partly reconstructed and used by the Allies as a secondary airport since visibility is less often obscured than at Düsseldorf Airport. The latter then developed into the large civil airport that it is now, while Essener Mülheim now mainly serves occasional air traffic, some 33,000 passengers each year, the base of a fleet of airships and Germany's oldest public flight training company. Residents of the region around Essen typically use Düsseldorf Airport driving minutes and occasionally Dortmund Airport driving minutes for both domestic and international flights. Get ready for a captivating exploration as we unravel the layers of Zollverein Industrial Complex and their profound significance. The Zollverein Coal Mine Industrial Complex is the city's most famous landmark. For decades, the coal mine current formed mainly from 1932, closed in 1986, and the coking plant closed in 1993, ranked among the largest of their kinds in Europe. Shaft XII, built in Bohus style, with its characteristic winding tower, which over the years has become a symbol for the whole Ruhr area, is considered an architectural and technical masterpiece, earning it a reputation as the most beautiful coal mine in the world. UNESCO had declared it a World Heritage Site in 2001. The complex, which had lain idle for a long time and was even threatened to be demolished, began to see a period of redevelopment. Under the direction of an agency born by the land of North Rhine-Westphalia and the city itself, several arts and design institutions settled mainly on the grounds of the former coal mine. A redevelopment plan for the coking plant is to be realized. On the grounds of the coal mine and the coking plant, which are both accessible free of charge while paid guided tours, some with former, are available. Several tourist attractions can be found, most importantly the Design Zentrum Ruhr Design Museum. The Ruhrmuseum, a museum dedicated to the history of the Ruhr area, which had been existing since 1904, opened its gates as one of the anchor attractions in the former coal washing facility in 2010. Phylisig Zollverein Essen oakt op coal mine Zollverein Phylisig Zollverein Ebenzok Shaft XII of Zollverein Phyliesen 6 Zollverein Ingangste op Zollverein Entrance File Trup Romusum Gromusum Phyromosum Stekis ok Romusum Stekis. In the next phase, we'll be immersing ourselves in the realm of Essen Minster and Treasury and exploring its real-world applications. The former Collegiate Church of Essen Abbey and nowadays Cathedral of the Bishop of Essen is a Gothic hall church made from light sandstone. The first church on the premises dates back to between 845 and 870. The current church was constructed after a former church had burnt down in 1275. However, the important westwork and crypt have survived from Ottonian times. The cathedral is located in the center of the city which evolved around it. It is not spectacular in appearance, and the adjacent Church Street Johann Baptist, which is located directly within the pedestrian precinct, is often mistakenly referred to as the cathedral. The cathedral treasury, however, ranks amongst the most important in Germany since only few artworks have been lost over the centuries. The most precious exhibit, located within the cathedral, is the Golden Madonna of Essen around 980, the oldest known sculpture of the Madonna and the oldest freestanding sculpture north of the Alps. Other exhibits include the alleged child crown of Emperor Otto III, the eldest preserved seven-branched Christian candelabrum, and several other artworks from Ottonian times. Essen Münster Golden Madonna Golden Madonna of Essen Golden Madonna of Essen Otto Marfelden Kruzocke Cross of Otto and Mathilde, 10th century Essen Slugger von Wurst. Larger Basilica Münster Rothes Essen Gessen Minster overshadowed by the town hall. In this section, we'll be peeling back the layers of Old Synagogue to reveal its true essence. Opened in 1913, the then new synagogue served as the central meeting place of Essen's pre-war Jewish community. The building ranks as one of the largest and most impressive testimonies of Jewish culture in pre-war Germany. In post-war Germany, the former house of worship was bought by the city, used as an exhibition hall and later rededicated as a cultural meeting center and house of Jewish culture. Freisynagoge Ochsynagoge, 1917 Freisynagoge Ochsynagoge, 1922 Freilaut Synagogue, Essen Gold Synagogue, 2010 Freilaut Synagogue Essen Gold Synagogue, 2014 Freilaut Alt Synagogue in for Isok Gold Synagogue interior. Let's now turn our attention to Villachel and uncover the fascinating insights it brings to the table. Built in 1873 by industrial magnate Alfred Krupp, Villachel, the 269-room mansion 8,100 and the surrounding park of 28 ha served as the Krupp family's representative seat. The city's land register solely lists the property, which at times had a staff of up to 640 people, as a single-family home. At the time of its construction, the villa featured some technical novelties and peculiarities, such as a central hot air heating system, own water and gas works, and electric internal and external telegraph and telephone systems with a central induction alarm for the staff. The mansion's central clock became the reference clock for the whole Krupp enterprise. Every clock was to be set with a maximum difference of half a minute. It even acquired its own railway station, Essen, which is still a regular stop. The Krupp family had to leave the Grundersite mansion in 1945 when it was annexed by the Allies. Given back in 1952, Villachel is now seat of the Alfred Krupp von Bohlen und Halbach Foundation, major shareholder of Thyssen Krupp, and was open for concerts and sporadic yet high-profile exhibitions. Villachel, Essen. Villachel Terrace and site of Villachel Stockich Gigreet Hall. Let's now enter the realm of Kettwig and Werden and discover the fascinating stories it has to tell. In the south of the city, the boroughs of Kettwig and Werden exceptionally stand for towns once of their own, which have been annexed in 1929 Werden and 1975 Kettwig, respectively, and which have largely preserved their pre-annexation character. While most of the northern boroughs were heavily damaged during the Second World War and often lost their historic town centres, the more southern parts got off more lightly. In Werden, Street Ludger founded Werden Abbey around 799, 45 years before Street Alfred founded the later cornerstone of the modern city, Essen Abbey. The old church of Werden Abbey, Street Ludgerus was designated a papal basilica minor in 1993, while the main building of the former abbey today is the headquarters of the Folkwang University of Music and Performing Arts. Kettwig, which was annexed in 1975, much to the dismay of the population that still struggles for independence, was mainly shaped by the textile industry. The most southern borough of Essen is also the city's largest with regard to area and presumably greenest. Essen worden markt 6 is op Essen worden, zicht op stadsdeel vanaf de brug over de Ruhr foto 819 op Essen worden Grafenstraat 1 is op Essen worden historic town center Essen worden Hextra evangelisch Kirch worden 11 is op de Protestant Church Essen worden Brandsterstraat 1 is op Essen worden Erfus op Essen worden Old Town Hall Essen Kettwig op Historic Town Center of Kettwig Blik of Kettwig mit Paleis im Herbst op Essen Kettwig. As we venture forward, let's take a closer look at other important cultural sites and its impact on our understanding. Museum Folkwang, one of the Ruhr area's major art collections, mainly from the 19th and 20th centuries. Major parts of the museum have recently been rebuilt and expanded according to plans by David Chipperfield and Company. The Alfred Krupp von Bohlen und Halbach Foundation is the sole funder of the €55 million project, which was completed in early 2010. After its reopening, it also hosts the collection of the Deutsches Plaket Museum, more than 340 exhibits. Alto Theatre, opened in 1988, the plans dating back to 1959. The asymmetric building with its deep indigo interior is home to the acclaimed Essen Opera and Ballet. Saalbach Essen, home of the Essen Philharmonic Orchestra, completely renovated in. Critics have repeatedly voted the Essen Philharmonic as Germany's Orchestra of the Year. Colosseum Theatre, situated in a former crop factory building at the fringe of the central pedestrian precinct, that has been home to several musical theatre productions since 1996. Zekkarl, a former coal mine, now a cultural centre and venue for rock concerts and home of Offener Kanal Essen. Grillo Theatre, a theatre in the centre of the city. Saalbach Essen och Saalbach Essen Folkwang och Museum Folkwang Essen. Alto Theatre, 2017 for CN och Alto Theatre. Colosseum Theatre Essen och Colosseum Theatre. Grillo Theatre och Grillo Theatre. Gruvehold Concert Hall Schloss Borbeck Komplettensicht Sommenuntergang och Schloss Borbeck Hugenpoort Wassergruben och Hugenpoort Castle. Moving forward, we'll be taking a closer look at other sites. Gartenstadt Margarethen, founded by Margarete Krupp in 1906. The Garden City, with its 3,092 units in 935 buildings on an area of 115 ha, of which 50 ha are woodland, is considered the first of its kind in Germany. All buildings follow the same stylistic concept, with slight variations for each one. Although originally designed as an area for the lower classes with quite small flats, the old part Margarethen has developed into a middle-class residential area, and housing space has become highly sought after. A new part, Margarethen II, was built in the Urs and Urs, but is architecturally inferior, and especially the multi-story buildings are still considered social hotspots. A Multgevital Malt Quarter. From 1908 on, following reformative plans of the city deputy Robert Schmidt, this quarter was developed just southeast of the city centre. Large green zones, forming broad urban ventilation lanes and incorporating sporting and playing areas and high-quality architecture, invariably in the style of Reform architecture, combined to create a unique example worldwide of modern town planning. It reflects reformative ideas and dates from the early part of the 20th century. The Multgevital continues to be a much sought-after area for residential, educational, health care and small-scale commercial purposes. On the Multteplitz, the quarter's largest square, an ensemble of high-quality contemporary art is maintained and cared for by local residents at Brugge Park, with a total area of 70 ha. The park near the exhibition halls is one of the largest urban parks in Germany and, although entry is not free of charge, one of the most popular recreational sites of the city. It includes the city's botanical garden, the Botanische Garten Brugge Park. The largest of the 6 reservoirs of the River Ruhr, situated in the south of the city, is another popular recreational area. It is used for sailing, rowing and ship tours. The hilly and only lightly developed forest area around the lake, from which the Kettwig area is easily reachable, is popular with hikers. Orangerie mit Orient Gruger Park, Kranekwies facing the Orangerie and the sculpture Orion, Fire sculpture Joseph Enseling Trauer Essens Westfriedhof op Gruger Park, sculpture Trauer by Joseph Enseling Fire Reichswartensche 1938 Kromikhof Essen Gruger Park, Reichswartensche 1938, Kromikhof Feuerpollution 2015, Essen. Gruger Park op Gruger Park Illuminated, 2015 Firewasserfall Gruger Park 2013 op Gruger Park, Waterfall Baldeneysee und Baldeneys Baldeneys Abends Essen Baldeneys Baldeneys Segler Tudbok Baldeneys Essen Margareffen Markok Marketplace of Margareffen I File Mother Haserk Margareffen Houses File Moltgeviatal 741 Ox Sculptures by Friedrich Gussel and Gloria Friedman at the Moltkeplitz. In the following segment, we'll be examining natives in greater detail. People born in Essen: Albrecht, conductor Karl Albrecht, entrepreneur Theo Albrecht, entrepreneur, brother of Karl Peter Anders, operatic tenor Karl Baedeker, publisher Jürgen Bartsch, serial killer Uetberg, born 1953, politician Nathalie Besem, artist Olli Bilgen, born 1981, footballer Franz Butcher, politician Hermann Blumenthal, sculptor Karl Brandt, agricultural economist Sabine Bronn, born 1965, track athlete Dennis Brinkmann, born 1978, footballer Ernest B. H. Busch, General Feldmarschall Gunther Zalquin, editor Mark Digens, born 1971, writer Marius Ebers, born 1978, footballer Friedrich Karl Florian, goalwriter James Ingo Fried, architect Matt Frey, born 1963, journalist Harald Gross, born 1944, race car driver Brigitte Hommen, author Hildegard Hambrecher, politician Walter Hyman, centenarian and war survivor Alfred Herrhausen, banker Axel Honneth, born 1949, philosopher Carl Humann, engineer Wilhelm Kalverum, university professor Christian Keller, born 1972, swimmer Fritz G. Kremer, military educator Dieter Krebs, actor Helene Kroller-Müller, art collector Alfred Krupp, inventor Alfred Krupp von Bohlen und Halbach, Nazi industrialist Bertha Krupp, daughter of Friedrich Alfred Krupp, steel manufacturer Friedrich Celsius Krupp, founder of Krupp family business Heinz Kubsch, football goalkeeper Hubert Lampo, writer Johanna Landfeld, Nazi guard Arthur Laumann, flying Issachar Berend Lehmann, banker Jens Lehmann, born 1969, footballer Helga Niesen-Marshoff, born 1941, tennis player Armin Mayans, born 1961, convicted murderer known as the Cannibal of Rothenburg Frank Mill, born 1958, footballer Harry South. Morden, pornographic film director Alfred Müller-Armack, politician Henry Ostermann 1862, architect Friedrich Pans, psychiatrist Mill Petrus, born 1967, guitarist Helmut Rahn, footballer Jutta Rank-Heinemann, theologian Otto Rehagel, born 1938, footballer Hugh Reinders, born 1955, footballer Ginter Rennert, opera director Heinz Mann, actor Leo Eisen, born 1996, footballer Klaus Scharieth, born 1946, diplomat Magdalene Schiss-Flake, composer and organist Hildegard Winkel-Sperling, tennis player John Stepling, actor David D. Stern, born 1956, artist Martin Stratman, born 1954, electrochemist Marianne Strauss, Holocaust survivor Joseph Terboven, Nazi politician Bernhard Termuth, footballer Johann van Galen, Commodore Kyriakos Velopoulos, born 1965, politician Albert Fleur, politician Elizabeth Volkmann, actress Pia Wuckenhorst, born 1993, volleyball player Daniel Wendt, born 1984, skater. In this segment, we'll be unraveling the complexities of honorary citizens and exploring its multifaceted nature. The city of Essen has been awarding honorary citizenships since 1879 but has coincidentally discontinued this tradition after the foundation of the Federal Republic of Germany in 1949. A notable exception was made in 2007 when Berthold Beetz, the president of the Alfred Krupp von Bohlen und Halbach Foundation, received honorary citizenship for his long-lasting commitment to the city. The following list contains all honorary citizens of the city of Essen: Otto von Bismarck, Chancellor of Germany 1888, politician, lawyer and economist 1895, Roman Catholic theologian 1896, Friedrich Alfred Krupp, industrialist, spouse of Margarete Krupp, see below, 1901, Heinrich Karl Solling, tradesman and benefactor 1906, Lord Mayor 1912, benefactress, spouse of Friedrich Alfred Krupp, see above, 1917, Paul von Hindenburg, General Feldmarshal and army leader, later President of Germany 1949, Victor Niemi, Councilman, posthumous recognition 2007, Berthold Beetz, President of the Alfred Krupp von Bohlen und Halbach Foundation. Today, the highest award of the city is the Ring of Honor, which Berthold Beetz, for example, had already received in 1983. Other bearers of the Ring of Honor include Essen's former Lord Mayor and later President of Germany, Gustav Heinemann, as well as Franz Cardinal Hengsbach, the first Bishop of Essen. Berthold Beetz 1973 and his wife Else Beetz 2006 are recipients of the Righteous Among the Nations, recognized by the Yad Vashem for having saved about 800 Jewish lives during World War II. As we venture forward, let's take a closer look at sport and its impact on our understanding. Thumberbreiter Stadion Essen. The biggest association football clubs in Essen are Rot-Weiß Essen, Red-White Essen and Schwarz-Weiß Essen, Black-White Essen. Stadion Essen is the home stadium for Rot-Weiß, is located in the north of Essen. Rot-Weiß Essen is playing in the third tier of the German Football League system, 3. Liga, and Schwarz-Weiß Essen in the fifth tier, Oberliga North Rhine-Westphalia. Schwarz-Weiß Essen's home stadium is Allenkrieg Stadion, located in the southern part of the city. Other football clubs are BV Altenessen and TuS Helene Altenessen. In women's football, SGS Essen are members of top division Frauen-Bundesliga. Another important and famous sports club is TuSEM Essen, with a handball team that have won several national and international titles. The city's main basketball team is ETB Essen, currently called the ETB Wonder Baskets for sponsorship reasons. The team is one of the main teams in Germany's second division pro and has attempted to move up to Germany's Elite League Basketball Bundesliga. The Baskets play their home games at the Sportpark am Hallo. Essen hosted the 1955 nine-pin bowling World Championships and the final round of the FIBA Eurobasket 1971. The city is also home to the VV Human Essen volleyball team. I'm here to provide you with the best information, so let me know what else you'd like to learn about.